You mean you just suckered me in? Yeah, guys. He was 6'3.5", about 225. Or he'd been in trouble. I was about 134. 5'9". But the sting and the hurt and the pain and the anger, and I lost total respect, but I mean it was a bait and switch. He actually pretended to like me, drew me in, took my stuff, and then stiff-armed me. Do you remember when that happened to you? Remember the first time someone really acted like they liked you, cared for you, and then just took the knife and stabbed you? Do you remember when it was? So you know what I learned? I learned to be suspect like you've learned. And I learned to put up my guard. And I learned when people talk, I kind of listen, I put it through a little filter, and I know there's an angle, and I know there's a spin, and I'm always looking for, what's insincere. And we've all learned, right? We play the game. But there's a few arenas in life where, even in a fallen world, you expect people to be authentic, right? I mean, there's a few little arenas left that you think, if this person says they really love you, they really care for you, this is true. There's a few arenas where you expect that, they're not going to be hypocrites. Places like the church. And then what you find out is that they're hypocrites there too, huh? Since we're doing a little memory lane walk here, do you remember the first time that you tasted hypocrisy in organized religion? You remember it? Mine is like right here. I was 11 years old. I went to a bit more formal church, and it was really beautiful. It had this huge A-frame and all stained glass window, and the light would come in, and had this huge, about 40 or 50-foot cross that went across the building. And when you're 10 or 11, I believe God begins to stir and draw you. And I didn't understand it, but I wanted to get nearer to God. And the minister got up and said, if you really love God and want to help out, we're going to have a work day. And it was mostly for men, but I remember, Mom, can I go? I want to help. I want to do something for God. She goes, oh, yeah, it'll be okay. So I'm out there, digging in the weeds and doing all kind of stuff. And I come into the church kitchen to get a drink of water. And there's a group of the church leaders, and the kitchen is situated where I can look in, and there's the kind of the worship area. And then I can look out over here, and there's these guys sitting down. And the behavior is immaterial. But they were participating in a behavior that I'd been told is wrong. And these are the church leaders doing it, all sitting around out back. And 11-year-olds aren't real smart, but they're not dumb. And I went, let's see. On Sunday, they say, don't do this. And we're at a church work day, and they're doing that. And then I got a little closer, and I started listening. And I heard guys cussing and swearing and making crude remarks. And then even some comments about Jesus and this and that. And I'll never forget, as 11, I stepped back and I thought, this is a con. This is a sham. All this stuff about Jesus, this is just a little moral straitjacket they give to little boys like me to keep me in line. And then when I come of age, I go out and sit like them and realize the whole thing. And I vividly remember in my mind thinking, I never want to be like them. And then I walked into that worship center and I looked at it with all the religious jazz and I thought, you know something? I don't know much about God either, but they're the leaders, so their God must be a lot like them. I don't want anything to do with them, and I don't want anything to do with Him. Anybody else been there? In fact, did you see Time magazine, the cover this week? Can the Catholic Church recover? Maybe some of you came out of a tradition, that or other, where a minister or a pastor. Here we have people that you really believe you can trust. And the Catholics don't have a corner on it, do they? Remember Swaggart? Remember Baker? And you just think, at least in the church, aren't people going to tell you the truth? Or your parents, aren't they going to tell you the truth? And then you get this hypocrisy. And then I don't know about you, it tasted awful. And I just didn't know if there was anybody I could trust. And I got pretty self-righteous. And I don't want any junk from anybody, anytime. And then as you grow older, something happens. This is the scary part. Do you remember the first time, as we go down memory lane yet one more time, when you were looking in the mirror one day, a little bit of personal reflection, and for the first time at significant levels, not like, I goofed up a little bit, where you saw hypocrisy in you? You remember that? For me, it was high school. I was a